Please welcome Aviv Ovadya, who's going to talk about, what are you talking about? Being responsible.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you the mic.
Okay.
And you go.
Hi, I'm Aviv Ovadya. I'm going to talk about what responsibility might mean for a tech company. And I want to say up front, the goal of this talk is not to complain about failures. It's to empower those who are fighting for their company to do the responsible thing and create a framework that broadens the perception of what the responsible thing means. It's also potentially to help journalists hold platforms accountable when they do fail to be responsible and to commend them when they succeed. Oops. So in the years since I've graduated from MIT, I've faced some tech responsibility challenges firsthand, and I've seen my colleagues struggle with, fight for, and be oblivious to many more. So the default stance that tech companies historically took is that we aren't really responsible for anything our users do. Let's pretend that problems don't exist until someone gives us mountains of data, perhaps a court order, and then let's just say it's not our problem. Misinformation is just one example. So here's one conception of responsibility, something that a company might commit to. If we discover unintended consequences in the future, we will be unrelenting in identifying and fixing them as quickly as possible. So let's dive into that. In that quote, there's this idea that products and companies can threaten the public and public goods through unintended consequences. They can threaten things like elections, like trust, even the ways by which people make sense of the world. So there are related problems. Information security focuses on securing data. We can also apply its techniques to securing public goods. I call that public security, or PubSec. Let's look at some potential unintended consequences on YouTube. If I search for immigration, this is the fifth result. It's from what SPLC considers a hate group, though it might just be clever storytelling or unreal census data. Like, I'm not going to comment on that. But let's look at what it will autoplay after it finishes. Now that is full of false and inflammatory statements, dramatic music, over 1 million views. This hurts our communities. A recommendation algorithm that suggests this so quickly is not protecting our public goods. But new threats to public goods come up all the time. Oblivious and whack-a-mole are not responsibility. That's how you get misinformation-fueled ethnic cleansing in Myanmar. So what might responsibility mean? It means reactively and proactively surfacing threats. It means carefully evaluating the extent of those threats. And it means mitigating these threats a top priority. Ideally, also transparency and dialogue around the failures and flaws. So consider surfacing. Where is the option here to report that these recommendations are rewarding misinformation? How can we know if progress is being made? We need formal reporting systems where people outside the company can communicate about threats to public goods. What about evaluating? Companies need to track metrics on their impacts on public goods. They may need to prioritize these metrics over revenue-generating ones occasionally. So I'm doing this work externally through TAU and University of Michigan, tracking misinformation or the extent of junk news on Facebook. This is some data from the election. But if a company doesn't want to make the call on what's misinformation or junk news, I understand that. That's fine. They need third parties who can, and that's not just 20 fact checks a day. That means at scale. They need people on the ground. So mitigation requires resource allocation. Responsibility is being willing to postpone other priorities when it could potentially help avoid, say, war, or even a rapidly growing movement convinced the world is flat. But it's also critical to have dedicated, empowered teams focused on ensuring the rest of your company, all those product teams, are doing a good job of this. We have that in security, even in diversity. We need it for public security. So there's a lot more I could talk about here. Threats of all sorts, approaches for handling them. Talk to me later if you want. A lot of these approaches come from InfoSec, but there's also other fields. They all require resources. So I'm going to read this out just because it's that important. If you take away anything from this, take away this. Technologists need to make proactively identifying and mitigating threats toward public goods a core part of their mission. Journalists hold tech companies accountable when they fail to resource this. Resourcing is critical, and commend those that get it right. My conversations this weekend have given me some optimism. It sounds like there actually is significant resourcing at Facebook and Google at least to address this. So to be responsible, tech companies will need to seek out unintended consequences. They'll need to be unrelenting in evaluating and mitigating them. And by the way, that original quote, that's from Sheryl Sandberg. I hope others follow her lead.